New York City. January. A bitterly cold night. Platform 13, Anaya, a 24-year-old girl, stood alone on the platform, clutching a small backpack. She had just called her mother to say she was catching the last train of the night, a slow, rarely used freight train recently opened for night passengers. The rain had stopped, but the air was still heavy with mist and silence. She adjusted her scarf and looked at her watch. 11:07 p.m. The train arrived, not with the usual clatter, but slowly, almost reluctantly, like it was exhausted, resisting the journey. The headlights were dim, flickering. The metal was rusted. The air around it was unnaturally still. The doors opened with a dull creak. Inside, the lights were barely functional, yellow, swinging bulbs that cast eerie shadows. The cabin was empty, except for an old man sleeping near a window, unmoving. Anaya hesitated, then stepped inside, choosing a window seat at the far end. She tucked her bag beside her, took off her jacket, wrapped herself in a thin blanket, and slowly closed her eyes. The train started moving. At first, everything seemed fine. The usual hum of wheels, the occasional screech at curves. But as the train moved deeper into the countryside, the world outside grew darker, foggier. Trees blurred. Mountains became shadows. Light disappeared. Anaya fell asleep, and then everything changed, in her dream. She was still on the train, but every compartment was pitch black. The doors creaked open one by one, and behind each stood a figure, faceless, dressed in white, whispering in a slow, hollow voice, "This sleep is not yours." Behind one door, she saw herself. Same clothes. Same bag. But her eyes were entirely black. Then a cold hand touched her shoulder, and she screamed. Anaya jolted awake, but she wasn't in the same place anymore. The lights had gone out. The old man had vanished. The windows no longer showed trees or land, only endless, swirling black mist. She stood up, trying the next compartment's door. It was locked. Then she heard it, soft footsteps. Circling. Just outside her vision, she turned sharply. Nothing. Breathing hard, she pulled out her phone. No signal. She peered out the window. No tracks, no ground, no forest. It was as if the train was floating in darkness. Then it stopped. With a screech, the train jerked to a halt. Anaya stumbled, braced herself. The door in front of her creaked open by itself. Beyond it, only thick, pale fog. No platform. No people. Just emptiness. And then they came. Figures emerged from the fog, tall, human-like silhouettes, but without faces. Silent. One by one, they stepped into the train. Anaya backed away, horrified. One figure reached out and gently touched her forehead, and her memories came flooding back. A car. Rain. A crash. Screams. Shattered glass. Blood. A woman's cry. A siren. Darkness. Anaya gasped. She was dead, or nearly. This wasn't just any train. This was the last train. A vessel between life and death. Meant for those who died in their sleep, or were about to, once you fall asleep here. You never wake up again. The faceless passengers took their seats, silent and still. And then she saw herself reflected in the dark window, eyes black, smiling. The train began to move again, but now Anaya refused to give in. She entered the next compartment. Heart pounding. Inside, a man in a tattered suit stood holding an old clock. "You're not the first," he said. "Every year, those who die in sleep begin their journey here. This sleep is a gate. If you close your eyes, truly, you won't return." She whispered, "Am I already dead?" He looked down. "Not yet. But very close." He handed her a ticket, burned at the edges, worn by time. "If you can stay awake till the next stop, you can go back. But if you sleep, you're one of them." The compartments became darker. Whispers echoed. Doors slammed. Shadows moved just outside her vision. One cabin was splashed with red. On the wall, something was written in blood. never sleep on the last train. She held the ticket tightly, then the train entered a tunnel. A long, endless tunnel. Outside, she heard only screams, not from passengers, but from somewhere far off, deep beneath the earth. The whispers grew louder. Each voice called her name, Anaya. Sleep. Let go. She bit her hand, hard. Blood. Pain. She stayed awake. Finally, a final door appeared, unlike the others. It was carved from old wood, and etched above it, the return door, but just beneath. Another line, only those who face their truth may enter. She opened it, and saw her final memory, the crash. Her own limp body. Her mother's screams. The doctors giving up. Her breath fading, and then, she woke up, in a hospital bed, machines beeped. Her mother sobbed beside her. A nurse cried out, "She's awake. My God, she's back." She had survived, but in her palm, that same burned train ticket. Some sleeps are just naps, others are doorways, and some trains never stop. Not for the living. Not for the dead who forget they are.